Right. So the rules that we had written down, can one of you please read out those rules? How are we supposed to start with the final accounts? Vaibhav, can you do that? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh huh. Okay. That's it. ठीक है. One thing, or I'll just show it to you. There's no point writing it down. So, like he mentioned, we are going to first of all start with class reclassification in the trial balance of all the accounts that you see as real, personal, and nominal. ठीक है, यहाँ पर हम कॉलम बना लेते हैं साथ में और यहीं पे लिख देंगे रियल, पर्सनल और नॉमिनल. So the first account that we have is bank account. Is it real, personal, or nominal? Real account. So I also mentioned that it can be considered personal as well. Okay, so we'll say real oblique personal. Cash account, real, personal, nominal. Real account again. Capital account, personal account. Drawings account. Drawings like capital is also personal. We are again referring to the same proprietor. We are talking about withdrawal from him in drawings or withdrawal by him from the business. And in capital, we are talking about his contribution to the business. Okay. So drawings is also personal. LIR and BCA and company, what type of accounts? Personal accounts. Scooter account, scooter is real, right? Scooter is has an existence and can be sold, so that is why it's real. Regent automobiles account, Regent automobiles personal account, an organization the business is dealing with. Now we have sales and purchases, and within bracket we've written goods. So अगर ये सिर्फ goods account होता we would consider it real, but because we have given the nomenclature sales and purchases, we are going to be calling them nominal accounts. ठीक है, सो सेल्स और परचेजेस फॉर्म में ये नॉमिनल होता है, और जब हम गुड्स या स्टॉक या इन्वेंट्री मेंशन करते हैं, देन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द एक्चुअल फिजिकल यूनिट्स ऑफ गुड्स विच आर रियल. सैलरी अकाउंट, रियल, पर्सनल और नॉमिनल. Yes, salary is nominal, doesn't refer to a person or an organization, but it is an expense or an income. ठीक है, डिफरेंस बिटवीन रियल एंड नॉमिनल यही होता है. रियल और नॉमिनल दोनों रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं मनी बीइंग स्पेंट और रिसीव्ड बाय द बिजनेस. ठीक है, लेकिन दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है कि जो भी आप पैसा या बेनिफिट रिसीव कर रहे हैं जिसका शॉर्ट टर्म इम्पैक्ट है, उसको हम नॉमिनल बोलते हैं, और जिसका लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट है उसको हम रियल बोलते हैं. Say, for example, we spent 32,000 rupees and we bought a scooter, right? If we had spent 32,000 rupees on salary, what would we buy? We would buy an employee or employees time for a certain month, week, or so on. ठीक है. सो टेम्परेरी बेनिफिट आपको मिलता है जब भी मिलता है तो हम उसको नॉमिनल अकाउंट बोलते हैं, और जब लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट या बेनिफिट मिलता है तो हम उसको रियल बोलते हैं. ठीक है. दैट इज द डिस्टिंक्शन बिटवीन द टू. रेंट अकाउंट, nominal account. Office equipment and office furniture, real accounts, both of them. इनकी एक्चुअल एग्जिस्टेंस है और ये आपको काफी साल तक काम आएंगे. एडवर्टाइजमेंट अकाउंट, nominal. Whatever money you've paid for a limited time, your advertisement will run in the newspaper. और अगर आप फ्यूचर में और एडवर्टाइज करना चाहते हैं, you'll have to pay more. Okay, so that's what a nominal account is. Telephone expenses, nominal. जैसे ही expenses लिख देते हैं, so nominal. ठीक है. Similarly, petrol expenses. अगेन अगर ये पेट्रोल होता या टेलीफोन इंस्ट्रूमेंट होता, देन इट वुड बी रियल, बिकॉज उसकी फिजिकल एग्जिस्टेंस है और उसकी एक वैल्यू है. पर यहाँ पर टेलीफोन आपको नहीं मिला है. यू हैव सिंपली पेड रेंट फॉर यूजिंग द टेलीफोन विच वॉज ऑलरेडी देयर इन द बिल्डिंग. सिमिलरली पेट्रोल यूज करा है आपने स्कूटर में, आपके पास अभी बचा हुआ नहीं है, इट हैज ऑलरेडी बीन कंज्यूम्ड, सो दैट इज व्हाई इट्स कंसिडर्ड एज अ नॉमिनल अकाउंट. Okay. Now, using the rules that we just mentioned, the first one was to classify all the accounts. Once the accounts have been classified, what we are going to do is we are randomly going to, without bothering about sequence and order, we are just going to pick up the values from the trial balance and write them in either the trading and profit and loss account or the balance sheet. सो बिकॉज प्रॉफिट पहले कैलकुलेट होता है, उसके बाद बैलेंस शीट कंप्लीट होती है, इसलिए हम नॉमिनल अकाउंट्स को पहले ट्रीट कर लेते हैं. ठीक है. सो फ्रॉम द ट्रायल बैलेंस आई विल फॉर द टाइम बीइंग only look at nominal accounts first. So the first nominal account that we have on our list is sales, right? So what does the rule say? All credit balances of nominal accounts will go on the right hand side or the credit side, and all debit expenses of nominal accounts will go on the left hand side. So I copy this value from here and I put it, I'm intentionally writing it in the next line. I say sales account, and here I can introduce the prefix that I've written at the top, by sales account. The value given to us in the trial balance is 163,425, 1,63,425. ठीक है. एक ही क्रेडिट बैलेंस है नॉमिनल अकाउंट का, बाकी सारे डेबिट बैलेंसेस हैं जितने भी हमें दिए हैं. So this goes on the right hand side. All the debit balances of nominal accounts, I'm picking them up carefully from the trial balance. 3 first. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste them here. I'm intentionally leaving the first line blank because वहां पर मैंने prefix लिखा है, या मैं copy paste कर रही हूँ इसलिए this doesn't get pasted. So you're supposed to write down 2 purchases, 2 salary account, 2 rent account on the left hand side, and buy sales, buy any income on the right hand side. Then office equipment and office furniture are real, after which we have 3 more nominal accounts: advertisement, telephone, and petrol. I'm copying them down and pasting them on the left hand side of the trading and profit and loss account. अब इतना करने के बाद you would realize that what we have essentially done is we have put all our incomes on the right hand side and we have put all our expenses on the left hand side. So जब हम दोनों को compare करेंगे, we'll be able to say whether we made a profit or we made a loss. So अगर आपकी इनकम ज़्यादा है, एक्सपेंसेस कम है, तो आपने प्रॉफिट कमाया है. अगर आपके एक्सपेंसेस ज़्यादा हैं और इनकम कम है, like in our case, then we incurred a loss. Okay, so that is how profit calculation is done from the records that are available to you in financial accounting. So ये process इसी तरह से चलती है, from journal to ledger, ledger to trial balance, and from the trial balance we are able to create profit and loss account and balance sheet. Okay, अब इसका profit calculate कैसे करेंगे? दोनों साइड को टोटल करेंगे. राइट हैंड साइड पे तो एक ही वैल्यू है, so no requirement of totaling. On the left hand side, the total says 2,22,000. 2,22,000 आपके total expenses हैं, और total income जो आपको इस month में मिली है, which is 1,63,425. So did we incur a loss or did we make a profit? Loss. So what are we going to say? Like the ledger account, on the lighter side, we will write down by net loss transferred to balance sheet. I'm using the short form for balance sheet, which is B oblique S. By net loss transferred to balance sheet, in the amounts I'll say is equal to 2,22,000 minus 163,425. The difference of the totals on the two sides. So I'm deleting this from here. Okay. So this is just the way we were balancing ledger accounts. We have balanced our trading and profit and loss account. And we found that the the loss was, in our case, 58,575. जब हमने दोनों का difference lighter side पे लिखा, अब हम उसको total करते हैं, and let's find out if the two sides are equal. Right? दोनों साइड्स इक्वल होना ये सिग्निफाई करता है कि ये जो 58,575 हमने कैलकुलेट किया है, दिस इज एन एक्यूरेट डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू साइड्स. That is why it is written on the lighter side, just to double check कि हमारा calculation of value is correct. Okay, now this is the net loss which will be transferred to the balance sheet. Where it is to be written, I'm going to tell you in a moment. But before that, we are going to do the second part of the final accounts, that is writing down all real and personal accounts into the balance sheet. So nominal हमने पहले ही ट्रीट कर लिया है. कोई भी नॉमिनल अकाउंट आप बैलेंस शीट में नहीं लिखेंगे, कोई भी रियल अकाउंट आप ट्रेडिंग एंड प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट में नहीं लिखेंगे. ठीक है, सो वन ईदर हियर और देयर इज द काइंड ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन दैट वी मेक. Now, the first two accounts that we have, bank and cash account, have debit balances and are real or personal. So we'll copy these and write them on the asset side. So debit balances on the asset side of real and personal accounts, and credit balances on the liability side. Next हमारे पास आ गया capital account. पर्सनल अकाउंट है लेकिन क्रेडिट बैलेंस है, इसलिए लायबिलिटी साइड पे लिखेंगे. Now in the capital account, I'm going to make certain adjustments. So first of all, I'm going to write down 2,25,000, the value of capital, in what is known as the inner column. इसको inner column बोलते हैं. हम इसको final amounts में नहीं लिखेंगे, हम उसको particulars या जो अंदर का details वाला column होता है उसमें लिख के उसमें कुछ adjustments करेंगे, and then we are going to write the final amount in the rupee column. Okay, so जो first adjustment हम करते हैं, we say add oblique less net profit or net loss. So what does this mean? अगर आपका प्रॉफिट हुआ है, you will add to capital account. अगर आपका लॉस हुआ है, you will deduct it from the capital account. So that is how your net profit or net loss is recorded in the balance sheet. It is written on the liability side as an adjustment to the capital account. In addition to this, तो हमारा हो गया है net loss. So on the second line, I'm going to write down just below 2,25,000, I say minus 58,575. So because loss hai, so we will deduct it 58,575. Next thing that we write down is less drawings. How much was the value of drawings? So minus 5,000, the drawings value given to us in the this thing, your trial balance. Okay, so this is how these two profit and drawings are adjusted. Other than that, we'll follow the rule of debit and credit. अगर हम drawings को asset side पे लिख दें, वो गलत नहीं होगा, but this is a better way of showing what kind of adjustment we are making. ठीक है? Now the next account after capital and drawings is LIR and company account. Okay, सबसे पहले यहाँ amount लिख देते हैं, हमारे पास finally कितना बचा है, is equal to 2,25,000 minus 58,575, right? Minus, I hope this comes out right, 5,000. So 1,61,425 is the net amount of capital that we find in the balance sheet. ठीक है? उसके बाद नेक्स्ट पर्सनल अकाउंट हमारे पास है LIR एंड कंपनी with a debit balance. So we will write it down on the asset side, 64,000 rupees. Next personal account, BCA and company, but with a credit balance. Hence, we'll write it on the liability side and write down 38,100 in the amounts column. After which we have scooter account, which is a real account, debit balance. So we'll write it on the asset side. Then we have Regent Automobiles, personal account, credit balance. So it will be written on the liability side. So ये जो liability side पे हम लिखते हैं कोई भी person या organization के नाम, these people are known as our creditors. People to whom the business owes money. जिसको business ने future में payment करनी है, उन लोगों को बोलते हैं creditors. And the ones who are going to pay the business in future are your debtors. So LIR and company is your debtor, while BCA and company is your creditor. Okay, and this debtor and creditor term is normally used for suppliers as well as your customers. सो रीजेंट ऑटोमोबाइल्स को भी आपने पेमेंट करनी है, पर उनको हम क्रेडिटर्स नहीं बोलते हैं मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स. वी ट्रीट देम एज अ लायबिलिटी because that liability is not associated with goods, it is associated with an asset. Okay, so creditors and debtors normally आपके supplier of product होते हैं and buyer of products होते हैं. So after Regent Automobiles on your trial balance, we have sales and purchases, which we've already taken. Then we have salary and rent, which we've already considered, they being nominal. Then we are left with office equipment and office furniture. So we copy them. Debit balances hai, so asset side पे इनको लिख देंगे. ठीक है, और इसके बाद जो तीन अकाउंट्स हमारे पास ट्रायल बैलेंस में बचे हैं, दे आर ऑल नॉमिनल. They have already been considered in the trading and profit and loss account. So this finishes with all accounts of the trial balance having been recorded either in the profit and loss account or in the balance sheet. Now, after this, like we did with the trading and profit and loss account, we will total the two sides of the balance sheet. And we find that the two values are equal. Now, please remember, balance sheet में हमने balancing किया नहीं है. Automatically, the two sides have come out to be equal. So, we draw a double line below this value to show that the balance sheet has been balanced. So, this is one of the, you can say, results of the double entry system, that if you accurately prepare your profit and loss account and balance sheet, the balance sheet on both the sides will show the same amount. और लॉजिकली स्पीकिंग भी बैलेंस शीट को इक्वल ही होना चाहिए, बिकॉज बैलेंस शीट इज नथिंग बट अ स्टेटमेंट ऑफ सोर्सेज एंड एप्लीकेशन ऑफ फंड्स. सो लायबिलिटीज रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं कि हमें पैसा कहाँ कहाँ से मिला, और एसेट्स शो करते हैं कि वो पैसा आज कहाँ है. सो दैट इज वाई इट इज ऑटोमेटिक दैट द टू हैव टू बी इक्वल, क्योंकि हम उसी अमाउंट की बात कर रहे हैं. लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे हम कह रहे हैं कि वो कहाँ से आया, या कहाँ कहाँ से आया, कौन कौन से सोर्सेज हमने यूज किए, और राइट हैंड साइड पे हम एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि आज की डेट में वो कहाँ पे है, right? In which form is that amount that the proprietor had invested in the business, right? So 2,23,525 is the balance sheet total of this particular organization at the end of April. Questions, anyone? Anything you haven't understood? Yeah, clarification? Okay? So process wise, this is what you're supposed to do. But there is a slight modification here, which now I'm going to discuss with you, with respect to the trading and profit and loss account mainly. Number one, when we have given it a name, trading and profit and loss account, right? What was the significance? The significance is that this particular question that we used as an example was a journal ledger question. ठीक है, सो इसमें बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन मिसिंग है, which will give our profitability calculations more accuracy. So ये just to show कि अकाउंटिंग की प्रोसेस कैसे चलती है, मैंने उसी इंफॉर्मेशन में से प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट और बैलेंस शीट बना दिया. बट जब भी हम किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेट करते हैं, हम उसको दो स्टेजेस में कैलकुलेट करते हैं. द फर्स्ट स्टेज इज नोन एज ट्रेडिंग account, and the second stage is known as profit and loss account. So what we've done here, we've combined the two stages and given only one value, which is net loss. So अब मैं आपको बताऊंगी कि इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है, या what is the inconsistency in this calculation of profit. Okay, let us now go back to the transactions based on which this question has been created. Okay, first of all, let us find out how many units of product did we purchase and at what price. So सारी purchases entries हम वापस देखेंगे to find out how many units we purchased and at what price. So purchased and sold, दोनों चीजों को record करेंगे in that sense. Now if you look at the 8th date transaction, purchased 60 units of product A for 66,000 rupees. Okay, so 60 units at the rate of kitna hoga? If we paid 66,000, how much would one unit cost to us? $66,000 divided by 60. ठीक है, 1100 rupees. Then we sold 20 units of product A at 27,500. 20 units at the rate of, who's going to calculate this value for me? यहाँ पे calculate कर लेते हैं. Is equal to 27,500 divided by 20 to get the per unit price comes out to be 1375. So जो प्रोडक्ट हमने 1100 रुपीस का खरीदा था उसको हमने 1375 रुपीस का सेल किया है. Okay, that is kind of this is a hidden information in your transactions itself. Then next one is check issued. Then we have 85 units are purchased again, and the amount that we pay for or promise to pay is 1,07,525. So is equal to 1,07,525 divided by 85. 1265 is the price we've paid for each unit in the second lot. Okay. Then sold 35 units. और इस सेल में हमें पैसा मिलेगा 55,825. So I say is equal to 55,825 divided by how many units? 35. तो 1595 पे हमने 35 units को sell किया है. Then we have sold 10 units of A for cash. So 10 units. और प्राइस कितना हमने चार्ज किया है? 16,100. So 1610 is what we charge per unit in the third sale. Then received check, issued check, again purchased 30 units of A at the rate of, अब आएगा is equal to 38,100 divided by कितने units हैं? 30 units. तो 1270 पे ये आप खरीद रहे हैं. The purchase on the 16th. Then sold 40 units at the rate of 64,000. So इसका मतलब 1600. Then on the 18th salary, then personal use, cash paid, cash paid. ठीक है. So ये हमारे total purchases and sales हैं. Now how many units have we bought in total? Yes, during the month of April, how many we have bought 175 units. And how many have we sold? Yes, how many have we sold? We sold 20 plus 35, 55 plus 10, 65 plus 40, 105. So during the month, we bought 175 units and we sold 105 units. So जो हमने profit and loss account यहाँ बनाया है, what have we done here? We have compared the cost price of 175 units to the selling price of 105 units. Okay, so this is the first problem which we are facing in our calculation of profit. That is why it cannot be considered as an accurate profit. So the calculation is, number one, done in two stages. Number two, it is always making an adjustment for what is known as opening stock and closing stock. ये particular business एक नया business था, so there was no stock remaining unsold at the end of March. So जब आपने April start किया, you started from scratch. There were no goods available with the company on the 1st of April. But in a running organization, you will have both opening stock as well as closing stock. अब अप्रैल के एंड में आपके पास 70 यूनिट स्पेयर पड़े हैं. दे आर क्लोजिंग स्टॉक ऑफ अप्रैल एंड दे विल बिकम ओपनिंग स्टॉक फॉर मे. सो जब आप मई स्टार्ट करेंगे, परचेज करने से पहले ही आपके पास 70 यूनिट्स अवेलेबल हैं जो आप सेल कर सकते हैं. सो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में हम क्या करते हैं, एक्यूरेट प्रॉफिट कैलकुलेशन के लिए वी कंपेयर द कॉस्ट प्राइस ऑफ only that number of units which have actually been sold. ठीक है. सो जब हमने सेल किया है 105 यूनिट्स का राइट हैंड साइड पे, जिसकी टोटल वैल्यू है 1,63,425, आई वुड लाइक टू कंपेयर दिस सेल्स वैल्यू टू द कॉस्ट प्राइस ऑफ ओनली 105 यूनिट्स. Okay, so that is what the real format for trading and profit and loss account tries to do. So this is the format which we should be using in order to get an accurate value for trading as well as profit and loss account. Okay, so please note this down. This is a standardized format, and information in the trial balance and the question will be given to you in a manner which will make it possible for you to write down or complete this format. So the first thing is opening stock. Opening stock means कि जिस भी टाइम पीरियड के लिए आप ये अकाउंट बना रहे हैं, उस टाइम पीरियड के बिगिनिंग में आपके पास कितना स्टॉक स्टोर्स में पड़ा था. अगर नहीं था तो जीरो, पर जो भी वैल्यू का स्टॉक था, दैट गेट्स रिटन हियर. The second term on the left hand side is purchases, the same way as we wrote purchases. The difference here is that we will be adjusting purchases for purchase returns or return outward if it is given in the trial balance. So कई ट्रायल बैलेंसेस में हो सकता है यू कम अक्रॉस अ टर्म विच इज नोन एज परचेज रिटर्न और रिटर्न आउटवर्ड्स. दोनों ही टर्म्स यूज होती हैं, दोनों में से कोई भी आपको दिख सकता है ट्रायल बैलेंस में. व्हाट डज दिस मीन? दिस मीन्स दैट व्हेन यू बॉट अ सर्टेन नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स, हमारे केस में 175, there could be a chance that some of these products were not very good, right? They were not according to our expectation and we sent them back to the supplier. हमारे साथ ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ बिकॉज अप्रैल में सेंडिंग बैक का कोई ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं है. बट कई बिजनेसेस में ये होता है कॉमनली कि सारे प्रोडक्ट आपको अच्छी क्वालिटी के ना लगे हों और कुछ यूनिट्स फॉर सम रीजन यू सेंट बैक. सो जब भी हम गुड्स को सेंड बैक करते हैं, we create a new account called as purchase return or return outwards account. So that will appear in your trial balance and that should be shown as a deduction from the purchases account in the trading and profit and loss account. Okay, so purchases less returns in the inner column and the net amount gets written in the outer column. So यहाँ पर आप जो भी परचेज रिटर्न है उसको डिडक्ट करेंगे परचेजेस से और नेट अमाउंट को रुपी कॉलम में लिख देंगे. इन एडिशन टू दिस, or a similar adjustment is made on the right hand side. We say buy sales and less sales return in the inner column and the final amount gets written in the rupee column. ओके, सो कुछ कस्टमर्स भी तो प्रोडक्ट हमें वापस भेजेंगे क्योंकि उनको पसंद नहीं आया या उनको अब ज़रूरत नहीं है और whatever. So whatever product gets returned gets recorded in the sales return account or the return inwards account. So that is why this particular amount has to be deducted from sales because this is product that was sent to the customer but for some reason they didn't like it, so this sales never happened. ओके, सो वो कैंसलेशन इफेक्ट देने के लिए हम उसको यहाँ पे डिडक्ट करते हैं. नाउ ऑन द राइट हैंड साइड आई एम गोइंग टू राइट डाउन बाय क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. Right? So the moment I write down buy closing stock, I end up comparing the cost price of 105 units to the selling price of 105 units. ये जो ओपनिंग स्टॉक क्लोजिंग स्टॉक की हम एडजस्टमेंट करते हैं, दिस इज प्राइमरीली फॉर द रीजन दैट द नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स ऑफ परचेजेस एंड द नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स ऑफ सेल्स आर डिफरेंट. सो उसकी वजह से हमारा प्रॉफिट डिस्टॉर्ट ना हो, इसलिए हम ओपनिंग और क्लोजिंग स्टॉक को लिखते हैं, सो दैट वी एंड अप कंपेयरिंग द सेम अमाउंट ऑफ यूनिट्स ऑन बोथ द साइड्स. उतने ही यूनिट्स की कॉस्ट जितने की प्राइस आपने रिसीव की है. जो प्रोडक्ट आपके पास अनसोल्ड है ऑन द 30th ऑफ अप्रैल, दैट इज नोन एज क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. सो हमारे पास 70 यूनिट्स पड़े हैं प्रोडक्ट के अनसोल्ड. So that represents the closing stock for us. So I'm going to write down for your reference 70 units. This is our closing stock. हमारे पास opening stock नहीं है because this is a new business, right? Purchases were, I'm going to say 0 units in this case. Purchases, how many units did we say? We said 175. Purchase return हमारे पास इस केस में कुछ नहीं था. So how many units did we have available for sale? We had 175 units. Okay. Out of which, how many units were sold? 105. There was no sales return again. So the net number of units which were sold are 105 units. It's not the rupee value, it is the number of units we are talking about. 105 units. बैलेंस हो गया हमारे पास 75 क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. सो अब दोनों साइड पे वी आर कंपेयरिंग 175 यूनिट्स टू 175 यूनिट्स. So this is the reason why opening stock and closing stock is written in the trading part of the trading and profit and loss account. ठीक है. उसके बाद दो आइटम्स जो हम ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट में इंक्लूड करते हैं. In actual accounting, there are more number of terms that we use, but for you people, we have kind of created an abridged version or a shorter version. So, हम लोग in JUIT, we consider only two items in the trading part: carriage inward and wages. Carriage inward means the amount of money you spend for bringing the product into the business. जो भी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन चार्जेस, जो भी कूलिएज आपने पे किया होगा टू ब्रिंग द प्रोडक्ट फ्रॉम द सप्लायर टू योर प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस इज नोन एज कैरेज इनवर्ड. जब आप कस्टमर के लिए प्रोडक्ट भिजवाएंगे, जो वो कैरेज होगा दैट इज नोन एज कैरेज आउटवर्ड, एंड दैट विल बी पार्ट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट. Wages as against salaries, there is a difference in the two. Wages are paid to workers, salaries are paid to officers and managers. So wages को हम trading account में इसलिए include करते हैं because these people are the ones who are directly working on the product. Managers and officers are working for the organization, but their effort is indirect rather than being directly involved with the production process. So salaries are taken in the profit and loss account, and wages, if any, are taken in the trading part. So जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, जब हम ट्रेडिंग एंड प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट बनाते हैं, तो हम प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट को 2 स्टेजेस में स्प्लिट कर देते हैं. Okay, so this is the first stage. After we've gone through the first stage, we will calculate what is known as gross profit. And once that gross profit has been calculated, we will look at the net profit. ठीक है. अब उसको gross profit हम कैसे calculate करेंगे? In the amounts column, we will write down the rupee value of the terms that we have written here. We will total the two sides and find out which side is more or which side is less. राइट सो जो भी साइड छोटी होगी उस पे दोनों कॉलम्स का डिफरेंस लिख के वी कॉल दैट टू ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. अगर हमारा लेफ्ट साइड कम है तो हम डिफरेंस को लेफ्ट साइड पे लिखेंगे एंड दैट विल रिप्रेजेंट ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. अगर हमारा राइट हैंड साइड ज्यादा है लेफ्ट हैंड साइड कम है तो ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. अगर लेफ्ट हैंड साइड ज्यादा है राइट हैंड साइड कम है तो हम डिफरेंस को राइट हैंड साइड पे लिखेंगे एज बाय ग्रॉस लॉस. राइट so this finishes the first stage of the profit and loss account, to gross profit और by gross loss. अब जितनी भी आइटम्स आपने यहाँ पे रिकॉर्ड कर ली हैं उसके अलावा जो नॉमिनल अकाउंट्स बचे हैं दोज आर द वंस which will be recorded in the profit and loss account. Right? But before we do that, we are going to start the profit. And जैसे ही आप difference लिख लेते हैं, on either side, we will total the two sides and the values will be equal. Now, the first thing that you do in the second part of the trading and profit and loss account is write down to gross loss. This is what you start the next stage with, to gross loss or by gross profit. ठीक है सो जो दोनों कॉलम्स का डिफरेंस था ऊपर चाहे वो लॉस था या प्रॉफिट उसके साथ में आप प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस पोर्शन को स्टार्ट करते हैं इन द फर्स्ट लाइन. After that, you write the rest of the expenses or the nominal accounts, except carriage inward, wages, purchase, opening stock, closing stock. जो चीज आपने ट्रेडिंग में कंसिडर कर लिया उसको वापस नहीं लिखेंगे. We will only look for those nominal accounts which have a debit balance to be recorded on the left hand side and the remaining with the credit balance on the right hand side. So जब वो सारे items लिख लेंगे फिर वापस we will have to net profit, the difference in the two columns, and by net loss. Now, this net profit or net loss is the one that is transferred to the balance sheet. जो ये यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है बैलेंस शीट में ये वो नेट प्रॉफिट या नेट लॉस है जो दो स्टेजेस के बाद कैलकुलेट हुआ है. पहले वो था ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट और ग्रॉस लॉस और उसके बाद with further modification we were able to convert it into net profit or net loss. Okay, so this is how the calculations are done. We will practice a question or maybe two questions on Saturday. So please make sure that everybody has done up till this stage, revised, and any problems you have, you can ask me then. Okay, and questions are already there shared in the folder with you. Final account question के नाम से I think Excel sheet. So in the meantime, you can practice using this method. Okay. Right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll meet on Saturday now. You're welcome.